Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Insert Name Here. It's a podcast about nothing for nobody. You take it seriously, you're redacted. Let's start the show. Hey,
what's up?
Hello and welcome to Insert Name Here. It's a podcast about nothing for nobody. If you take it seriously, you're redacted. I'm your co-host, Doug Bennett.
And I'm your other co-host that doesn't have a laptop this time, Seth Nacho. Welcome in to this fabulous podcast day.
Yeah, it was either get 2 more laptops and have 4 of them out here,
I need to look at 4 screens, honestly.
or go back down to 1. Because, and honestly, if we did 4, then next week we would have had to do 8. And, you know, I don't know about any schools that are shutting down or having to sell all their Chromebooks. So
yeah,
all of a sudden it's going to become a very unmanageable laptop situation.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a few. And
just
I'm in. I'm back in the mainframe.
Just in terms of acquisition, brother. We have to dumpster dive the Best Buy.
Dude, I have a feeling like a thrift store might have some cool equipment by now, you know?
No, if we're going to go crazy with the tech, we got to like go really crazy. I'm talking Commodore 64s. I'm talking about the Compaq 6000.
I just want to have some floppy disks.
I want the laptops that are a briefcase, and they have just a really tiny screen and keyboard because it took that much circuitry for that little back in 1983.
Oh my god.
Fuck it, a car phone. Let's throw one of those.
Are we going back to when the computer was in the whole room, like, and it was like punch cards?
I mean, there are still room-sized computers.
Well, yeah, but that's different. Those are like servers, though. It's like multiple computers.
Have you seen some of these quantum computers?
I'm thinking more of like supercomputers, where it's like different core processors and they all are linked.
Yeah.
But you could call each one its own computer, though.
Well, what is a computer?
But together, it's a supercomputer.
What is a computer? But an abacus.
What is a youth? I have a favor.
Okay.
Is that cool?
What a favor? What the favor to ask of me?
The pouch kind of favor.
Oh, jeez, brother.
You don't have to.
No problem. While I'm busting this out, let me remind you that if you're just joining us now on YouTube, then you are missing out on perhaps one of the greatest lost media unearthings, archaeological. What do they call them when you do it with societies instead of other stuff? So archaeology,
paleontology,
anthropology. Yes, greatest anthropological discovery coming out of lost media from the 2010s, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, link is down below, right?
Right down there, buddy. That's fine. I'm not going to relitigate this, but yeah, you got to all the way down there. That's where the bar is, by the way.
Yeah, right. And I did. You can click that link. It is a link clickable.
Woo!
So, anyway,
let's go, baby!
Yeah, baby!
That's the shit I've been waiting for.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of bleeds into a good first topic. You said you watched it, right?
Yeah, dude.
So, season 2 was announced for Moist Critical.
Cannot believe that Charles White retired the iconic, he abdicated the iconic Charlie role.
He said the first 18 years of his career has been just season 1. I was like, holy shit. And then, so you saw the reveal of the new cast, right?
So, a little bit of context for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. There's a famous YouTuber, and I guess, 3 million, almost 4 million subs is famous.
I think everybody knows who Moist Critical is, personally.
I think of at least one person who's going to listen to this who doesn't know.
Okay, fine. Does Ludwigling ring a bell?
Yeah, if you're not plugged in the online, Penguin Zero, aka Moist Critical, famous YouTube guy. He is one of...
Well, famous streamer guy, too.
He started on YouTube, streams a lot.
If you're referencing Mom, she loves Critical.
I was thinking specifically of my own mother. But
You're
yes.
yeah, okay, well then. Yeah, she might know who that is.
YouTube guy, streamer guy, formerly of the official podcast.
I mean, he does a lot of giveaways on stream, and he's just
All around pretty cool.
Just fun guy. Just a
Yeah.
nice guy. He's an esports team leader. Like he owns an esports team.
Rare for this long of an internet presence. Can't think of a major controversy attached to him.
Well, that's why I brought up. That's why I brought up Ludwig, because if you know who he is, then you know who Moist Critical is, because they do the esports team together. The Moist Moguls.
Yeah.
Well, after now it's a thing. Yeah. Has he not really had any controversies?
It's incredible. The closest he got.
I mean, there was the Sneeko drama where he pulled out the guns. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was the closest he got, though. He was basically just. He got fed up with the guy and was like, okay, pussy.
This is a mag. Not a.
My clips are for hair. Or whatever that girl says in Apex.
Yeah, so season 2 dropped.
Yeah, an entire cast change. He replaced his friends with other friends. We've talked about Iron Mouse before, I guess.
The funniest one to me, though, was Matt replaced with the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, they had a blue man involved, just one of them. And then Jordan, who I guess is just a guy from the Everglades.
It's a guy they know,
With
yeah.
a snake.
He had 2 snakes. He had one on his arm and one on his neck.
I think what none of us saw coming was that Charlie himself was getting recast. And by who else than T-Pain?
Do you hear yourself right now?
Who else could it possibly be?
Guys.
Famous Twitch streamer T-Pain.
Yeah, guys, can you believe T-Pain is the new Moist Critical? He even wore the wig. So he didn't have the hair.
I mean,
He had the shirt on.
there's two things. It's not Charlie if there's not a plain white T-shirt. I don't know what brand he wears. I'm imagining Gildan.
I'm imagining Hanes.
He
His
doesn't,
fucking undershirts.
he doesn't seem like a Hanes guy to me. But all right,
I can see Gildan.
yeah. Gildan's nice because you make the good distinction: undershirt versus regular shirt. If it's Gildan, it's going to be a regular shirt.
Gildan's both.
Hanes doesn't make regular shirts. Regardless,
Fruit of the Loom.
not only was there this monumental shift on a landmark channel, the change went pretty good. Pretty good, I would say.
The first video that dropped was great.
Yeah, season 2, Charlie covered Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dwayne "My Cock" Johnson, if you will.
Huh? Huh?
And which, if we talk about The Rock for a second, how you gonna sell me shampoo? How are you, Dwayne "The Rock," gonna sell me shampoo?
From what I saw in the video, it's shampoo and conditioner. Like it's like a 2-in-1. Totally a men's product.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could buy that The Rock would use a conditioner, because what does a conditioner do? It moisturizes. What does one moisturize often? Their bare skin.
Yeah, so
I'm alluding to the fact that the man's balder than a baby's ass.
the way it was phrased is that it moisturizes the hair and the scalp, and it's good for even if you're bald. Which I'm like, okay, but it's just hilarious to me that you would advertise a hair care and be fucking bald for over a decade. Like
Famously bald.
it's not like bro like had hair like a week ago and like used it, but then he just decided to go bald. It's like nah fam, we've been bald since the 90s. Like I mean, not really, but you know. So I mean, since like Get Smart for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that maybe is the oldest Dwayne "The Rock" thing I get. Well, I mean, he was bald before he quit wrestling.
Yeah.
So
He did have hair when he wrestled though for a bit.
definitely at the start of the wrestling, but once he started picking up size, which that makes sense, you start pumping a bunch of outside androgens into your system, you're going to get that male pattern, and then once you got that male pattern, you might as well just
But you know what? You know why you go bald, right?
too much testosterone.
Exactly. He's too much of a man.
Yeah, that's why every time I shave my head and then I sit down at the computer, I put my headphones on. I'm like, I'm low T Northern Lion.
But I'm not I'm not gonna trust in this hair care product until I see some reviews online from people with hair and bald guys. I want to know from both perspectives how this product is.
You know, the product has a really Polynesian name. I think it's like Papa Nui or something. You know how we can keep it?
I think it's Papa Hawktua. Hawktua podcast. I got a Hawktua podcast for you.
Clean on that hair.
Come talk to us.
But you know how we can keep this on brand and get a reliable celebrity endorsement? You know who I want to be using this shit? You know who I want to sell me this 2-in-1
AOC.
shampoo and conditioner? No, that's not on brand.
Oh.
It's a Latina. I want Troy Polamalu.
Okay.
Brother.
I don't know people.
He's a football guy.
Cool.
Played defense for the Steelers a bunch. Very Polynesian. Insanely good player. Also known for the dramatic amount of hair that he always kept on his head.
Nice.
Shit was crazy. Dude was like
if that guy's using it, shit.
Dude was like a fucking palm tree Rapunzel. I'm telling you, he.
Paul was this an island boy?
This
This is one of the island
He's
boys.
Polynesian, dude. Yes.
I'm an island boy.
I was gonna say coconut Rapunzel, but that's maybe a bridge too far.
Can we relax? Can we relax on the coconut?
I said I was gonna say it. No, I didn't say it.
You fucking said it.
We're playing like that. You said it.
I said nothing. Roll back the tape, audience. Let's see. Let's see who's right.
Hello, my name is Seth Nacho, and I think that this is a great idea. Coconut Rapunzel. Wow.
I'm 100% behind saying this, and I think that Doug's really gonna like it. Well, I said, wow! In Kamala's America, you can't get away with saying Coconut Rapunzel. In Trump's America, oh boy, you can say it as much as you like. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, would you like to reel it in for a big question?
Dude, I've got it on the hook, pulling in my line, sink it.
Okay, so, question for you. You are common knowledge known to be, you know, a right-leaning individual when it comes to economics and politics and things like that, for the most part.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, I just want to know how you feel about this, taxing the rich, you know, and like those special kind of taxes on the rich.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, just taxing the excessive wealth and stuff to get more money into the government.
see, the problem is that the government never does anything good with the money. So,
But that's not the question.
yeah. I also don't care, you know? If I can tax away at them. If you're going to tax anybody, you might as well tax the rich.
So that's not a big problem for you.
No.
Because I feel like most right-leaning people are like, you can't tax the rich, they earn their money.
One, they usually don't, let's be honest.
Right. 60% of wealth is inherited
And then,
in America.
And then two,
People that haven't worked a day in their life.
it's a real case of, you know, actually they actually have it, so it's worth taxing. Whereas you look at something on the individual, like regular wage earners income tax, it's like, why are we taking 20% out of the pockets of regular Americans when, I mean, the economic impact of that money still being out and about is far greater than any impact it could have in terms of statecraft and spending. Meanwhile, if you got somebody sitting on an accumulated like several $1 billion of wealth and equity, they're not personally gonna miss any of that. They got plenty. I would say even once you start getting up into the multi-millions.
Yeah, I think it was AOC that said anything above 10 million excessive, like a 70% tax. This is what she wanted to do. And then Elizabeth Warren wanted to do like a 2% tax on like 50 million plus.
Yeah,
Which when I listen to that, like when you hear tax the rich, you're kind of like, okay, but what are you talking about? But when you hear these like specific plans, they kind of make sense. I mean, it's not like they're gonna miss that money for real.
yeah, and also when you look at when you start to understand progressive tax brackets, it's like from this chunk of money to this chunk of money, it's a percentage of it. Then on this range of it, out of only this range, this percentage. So at the end of the day, the taxpayer is still accumulating. Versus if it was a in total tax, yes, it would be insane to, out of all your wealth, I'm charging you 70% on all of it. That's bad.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like that. It's only on the extra shit.
Yeah,
basically.
but when you have a progressive taxing system, it becomes a much easier burden to bear. And I mean, at the end of the day, when you have excess, let's just call it excess capital because it's insane. No one really needs that much money. When you have that much at that scale, you're recouping almost instantly. So I'm not particularly sympathetic to taking from somebody like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just curious about your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just makes more sense.
Yeah, it's what America used to do. Like through the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Yeah, it's not like their quality of life is diminished at all. If it somehow demoralizes them from continuing to try and earn in the way that they've earned, or continuing the processes that have allowed them to get there, if it somehow demoralizes them out of that, then they also don't really deserve that.
Yeah, because America is what allowed you to get there. If you're not willing to support your country, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and also a lot of people don't have the money to give at their regular ass taxes. Like they will file deferments, or they will just straight up ignore tax season.
Something like a regular guy?
Yes.
Like an average Joe?
Yeah. I've met like a double digit number of people who say, like, no, I just haven't paid taxes my whole adult life.
That's illegal. Evading your taxes.
So.
This week on INH Podcast, we're going to teach you how to commit tax fraud. Step 1, forge a new identity.
Oh, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
with all the shit we're finding out about Social Security, specifically Social Security numbers.
Yeah, I heard about that, about all the dead people collecting Social Security.
Yeah, I mean...
I want to meet these 200-year-olds. I want to meet them.
Brave people. To quote our president, if I met some of these people, these 200-year-olds, I'd worship the ground they walked on. I'd ask them how they did it. But I can't, because they're not there. But yeah, no, the point I want to make, though, is the revealing detail. The database for Social Security numbers is not deduplicated, meaning that there are repeat numbers in there as well. So I mean, you stand a good chance of just making one up and being able to use it.
Nice. Sort of like a credit card number. Sort of.
Help! John F. Kennedy needs to fight back to save the world in Fortnite.
I think you're thinking of John... Wait, yeah, okay, you're making a joke, but... John Wicks and Dusty Dimmitt surrounded by fake default skins. That's the one I always remembered. He needs the 16 digits of your credit card and the 3 digits on the back.
Yeah. But yeah, tax the rich, why not? They're the only ones that actually have money, so,
I think it's a good idea.
Where else are we going to get it?
And honestly, like, I was watching a video about this, that's why I brought it up, about, like, the myths surrounding it, like, what people say to defend the rich being, like, taxed less. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, the truths that the guy was revealing, I was like, holy shit, You don't tax, you lower the taxes on corporations, right? Because you want them to spread business and jobs. They use that money to buy back stocks to increase their shares and get rid of employees is what they do. They downsize when they have all that extra tax money. So, it's proven, just tax them. Fuck it. Yeah. Just tax them. If they can afford it, tax them. Like, obviously, like what you're saying, like, by the scaling, don't, excessively tax them.
Yeah.
No reason to, like, go crazy with it, but, like, and also, I was learning about capital gains tax. Like, a lot of capital gains are avoided taxes because you just give your property and shit to your heirs so that you don't have to pay capital gains tax. And then, like, a lot of average Americans get taxed on their wealth, right? It's usually property tax. That's where their main wealth is, right? Their asset.
Yeah.
Whereas the rich have all their shit, like, usually in the stock market, and that's not taxed. But Congress could totally make a tax for that. We talked about this last week, actually. Congress's role and what it does. It can make a tax on that, actually. So, that's part of its job. No one's going to do that, though. Nancy Pelosi would not want to tax her stocks.
No, brother.
But she's not in Congress anymore, is she?
No, that's a great question. I think the answer is yes. I think she's still in Congress.
She is. She's just not Speaker of the House anymore.
No, and she wouldn't. She definitely wouldn't be at this point either.
Yeah, it's Republican House,
But,
right?
no, I think that was a big deal. Is when she like finally said, "I have to be done doing this." I think the guy that replaced her was maybe named like Mike Johnson or something, which is a great generic name to just throw out there.
Just a dude. Just Mike Johnson. I'm the Speaker of the House now. Name's Gerald Ford.
But Gerald Ford, that's a great one. We'll just get into. There's nothing big news-wise.
I was about to say there was for me on my radar.
But I want to make sure we talk about this, and since you brought up Gerald Ford,
Yeah.
I'm going to question you back, and know that Gerald Ford's going to be relevant later, I guess.
Okay.
But if you put
The only two presidents to fall downstairs,
we're putting
Biden and Gerald Ford.
Did he fall down some stairs?
I don't remember. I feel like he did though.
I think if any of them was going to, it would be Reagan or FDR.
Well, FDR couldn't walk.
That's prime candidate for falling.
How are you gonna fall in a chair?
It happens.
Wait,
What?
Didn't Biden shit his pants though? At the
All the
Pope?
time,
With the
yeah.
Pope or something?
Yeah,
Anyway.
you don't make a face like that if the guy next to you didn't just shit himself.
Go ahead though.
We're taking all 46 presidents, putting them in a
46, 47 you mean?
incorrect. I guess that I mean 45. Okay, if we're going just by the number of guys. But did they count FDR again every time, all 1/4 of his terms?
The only people that counted twice were Grover Cleveland and now Trump.
Okay, so 45.
Because they were not consecutive
Yeah,
terms.
we're gonna put all 45 of them into a Royal Rumble. Who comes out as the champion of that battle?
You mean for real?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're
Immediate top runner in my opinion, Theodore Roosevelt.
that's where my mind goes to.
That man is like he's just like a dude, you know. Like that guy, I don't think he's going down easy. God, you brought up this topic, but I want to talk about something else. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going here though for now. You know, Andrew Jackson, I think could kick ass.
Good old Stonewall.
I want to say Tippy could do something, but he kind of died like 3 months into his presidency from pneumonia. So maybe he was a pussy, but like back in the day, he was like a fucking general. So I mean, he'd probably be pretty cool. Zachary Taylor, general in the Mexican War. That guy probably kicks ass. I think he got poisoned, dude.
Right.
He got poisoned to die.
Oh no.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln could do shit. I think he's dead. I think he's getting kicked. His ass getting kicked.
Let's see. People brought this up. Champion wrestler.
Yeah.
A 300-0 wrestling record in his college days.
Lincoln?
Yeah. So the dude knows how to get down.
He's just so tall and lanky. I just don't know.
That's what makes you good at wrestling. I don't know how well you would fare in a Royal Rumble situation with that physiognomy. I'll say this for my part, just so we can eventually get on. Immediately, and I still believe it's Teddy Roosevelt by a mile.
Well, come to think of it, Taft, he could just fucking lay on you and you'd be over. So, I mean, you're not getting through that tough high.
Yeah,
you know?
but is he getting up?
He's pinned to the ground. He's screwed.
He's fucking laying. He can't cover his head. Just give that a couple kicks.
Dude, Coolidge?
Just teenager style.
Coolidge?
You know? But no, Ford is what jogged my memory on this.
Yeah.
I guess he was like a superstar football player.
Yeah, didn't he play football? Yeah.
So, to me, the caveat's got to be at the time they were in office.
Yeah, it has to be.
So, yeah, we're not power scaling this.
Yeah, we're not doing like 21-year-old presidents.
Prime Washington.
Before he got the dentures.
Which set?
The slave ones or the wood ones?
He did have a pair of ivories, which is specifically elephant bone.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, just an interesting thing to think about, and it caused me to accidentally learn a Gerald Ford fact. I'll never forgive the internet for that.
So, I got two things here, kind of. Old president or the Gerald Ford topic? You decide.
Wherever your mind's at.
Okay, well, this is the news for me. I want to talk about the news. I think that's the most relevant. So, Gerald Ford, why did he become president? Because he was Speaker of the House, right? Because Spiro Agnew resigned, and so did Richard Nixon. Why did Richard Nixon resign? Watergate, right? Not actually illegal. What he did technically wasn't illegal, I guess, but it was so much of a scandal that he felt bad for the American people. He said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. But Nixon, before Watergate came out, before it hit the shelves and everyone knew what it was, brother tried to cover it up by telling DOJ members to fire somebody or something. He wanted this one lawyer fired, and they wouldn't do it because it's like, whoa, dude, like, why are you asking me to obstruct justice or whatever the fuck? So they like kept resigning. Lawyers kept resigning and resigning until finally the one that was a coward little bitch fired the one for him, right?
Okay.
The same thing is happening right now with Trump and his DOJ. And I forget what the fuck is going on, but I was just watching a video about it. No, I remember what it is about. It's about the mayor of New York.
Eric Adams.
They're pardoning Eric Adams so that he will cooperate with immigration and deporting.
Okay.
Like, he's going to put forth his full effort to help with that, and because he's going to help the Trump, like, regime do that, he will be pardoned. Right? Because, you know, he's in jail. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's been on it. And it's not like, it's honestly, as far as corruption scandals go, not the worst one. The dude's just, like, flying to Turkey a lot. off of Saudi money.
Is he bald or something? Like, is he trying to get hair?
No, he just likes that airport, dude.
He was like a big fan of Turkey.
Some of the correspondence from that is literally, it's just that level. He's like, I like hanging out with the Saudis. It's a cool airport. Hell yeah, I'll go. And they're sending him a bunch of money, paying for his flights. As far as corruption goes, it's not the worst one we've ever seen.
Right. Anyway, the way that they like wrote and tried to pardon him and shit, they're having to fire somebody or do something, and the lawyers are all not wanting to do it. They're all resigning. So they're going to have to find that one lawyer that just gives in and does whatever he's told, basically.
I mean, hey, New York, more than anywhere else in this country, kind of needs this immigration shit to go down.
Well, I'm not really focusing on that. I'm focusing more on the lawyers all resigning. It's kind of crazy.
You know, whatever levers of power need to be pulled to make that happen. It is interesting that there's a parallel from a previous administration.
It's called like the Thursday Night Massacre or some shit. Is what they were calling it. Have you not heard about this?
No.
See, I figured this would be on your radar. I figured you'd have more insight for me.
I mean, it's hard to keep up with all
it
this
is,
stuff.
but that's why I was like, I saw that come across my feed, and I was just like, oh shit. You ever heard about that?
No. News-wise, I've been back in the COVID loop, back in the COVID stuff. Things keep coming out about it, and that's where I've been stuck this week.
Okay.
But that's interesting. Hopefully it works. Hopefully too many lawyers don't have to quit and they can get started. Because what I do know about the immigration situation in NYC right now is bad. It's like mega bad.
Right. But do we want Eric Adams or whatever out on the streets again? I don't know. You said it wasn't the worst corruption. I agree, but like, I don't know. He did something illegal and he went to jail. I mean, you know, he's still the mayor in jail, and he fucking. And so he's cozying up to the Trump regime to kind of get out of that. It just feels a little disingenuous in my opinion.
I mean, of course.
It feels a little. In Kamala's America, you know, you can't get pardoned from little deals with Saudi Arabians, but in Trump's America, you know, if you take away a few people out of your city, well,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, look, I don't really want to hear about what a president can or can't do or what feels bad or not after the set of Biden pardons. It's insane, especially if you look at some of like the death row sentences that he commuted. It's insane. And then just like, he's like, yeah, all of the crime that my family might have hypothetically done, going back to, 2014, a blanket 10-year window of just, yeah, everything's covered under this, whatever you may or may not have done. Like, how is that not wildly illegal and corrupt either? Things just happen now. we're living in a really cool period where, for better or for worse,
No one cares about anything. They're just doing shit.
For better or for worse, we're just doing shit now.
Yeah, it's just wild to me. Like, some of the shit, it's just wild.
So, as someone who primarily likes to go to the news for entertainment, we're getting back to it being entertaining.
You know what I think it is?
What is it?
I think it's because, Trump's an outsider, right? Like, he wasn't raised in the political sphere. His first political office was president, right? Did he do anything before that?
No.
So
He didn't even try to.
So he's kind of like bringing like a business approach, I guess. The way he thinks about the government and presidency is different from every other president. I feel like for the most part, there might be a few that were similar, and I'm not talking about way back in the day, right? That's a totally different time period. But I think the way he does stuff is making everyone concerned, and like everyone's like, oh. But it's like
they're just scared because it's new.
He's just doing his thing,
Yeah, new things are scary. I get it. I used to be 5 years old too.
I remember my first beer.
I never had a broccoli before. What's that?
But
it looks fuzzy.
I did want to. The other thing I wanted to bring up was because we were talking about old presidents. You know who William McKinley is, right?
Yeah, great mountain named after him.
He's the president who died to let Theodore Roosevelt become president. So back in the day, VPs never became president. That used to be like a thing. It was like if you became VP, you were sentenced to never be president. But William McKinley got assassinated, so Theodore Roosevelt got it. And it's funny because he was wearing a bulletproof vest, but he got shot in the head. William McKinley was a big fan of tariffs, which our current president, Donald Trump, is a big fan of. And I just wanted to know if you had any insight on, if you know anything, if you remember any of that. A lot of people keep bringing that up to me, about William McKinley's tariffs and how our economy was great back then.
Yeah, golly. So what was this?
I mean, that's going back to the turn of the 1900s. Like
I was going to say this is
20th century.
This is pre-World War One.
Yes.
I mean, out of any nation on this planet, you talk about the Industrial Revolution, you're talking about basically the Western world, okay? I would say out of all the Western world, America was the country that best levered the Industrial Revolution to economic success. That's where we really started to pull ahead. We didn't get there until after World War II, obviously. But that's when we were starting to pull way ahead. Obviously, trade at the time was expanding and becoming larger in scale and also more efficient thanks to these new processes. So, to me, in my mind, I think Industrial Revolution, and then I want to pair it with the tariff. And
that way it increases industry in your own country?
Yeah. Of course,
that makes sense.
That's back when we actually had factories and stuff that we're trying to bring back right now. Which I would love to work.
Which is good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, people need jobs, right?
Yeah, but the industrial stuff, it's a double-edged sword, bro.
Like if you're gonna tell me the other edge of that sword is environmental concerns, and you're gonna try and tell me that we have not
the smog in London, bro, from all the coal burning.
Yeah, we've had
every country outsources their energy to other countries that are shitty because we let them do all the shit so that we can have the best parts.
Yeah, but at the same time, the technology is there to make those processes cleaner and more better. More betterer. Thank you.
More gooder.
No, that's incorrect grammar.
Okay. Grammar.
Thank you.
Synonym roles, just like grammar used to make.
But yeah, I mean, just like for example, when you're talking about energy, these energy stacks, they call it coal scrubbing technology, to where most of what you emit ends up being like water. Like they're able to carbon capture at the plant now.
That's sick. If you can do that, yeah.
So,
and you could use the carbon for other shit.
Yeah,
and like plastic or something.
It's not perfect, but it's better than what it used to be. The technology has improved.
Way back in the late 19th century, early 20th century, obviously the technology was way worse. Like, obviously they were just pumping shit right into the air. But nowadays, if we could be more environmentally conscious, then I would say, yeah, it's fine.
Between stuff like that, and we really need to, I'll knock on this box until the day it actually happens, but once we need to fully buy into nuclear, It's
I'm with you on that for 100%.
other parts of France is able to supply power to most of Africa through nuclear initiatives.
I mean, look at Japan, right?
Hey, it's working out great for them.
They had one little problem. That was it.
You can still drink the water.
Yeah.
Obama famously juggled it on TV. He went to Japan and he drank the nuke water.
Did he get the? Well, there was that one nuke facility they got.
Yeah, the Fukushima.
Yeah, but did he use one of those weird straw things? You know that people use to drink ocean water and like piss and shit.
No, it was right out of a regular glass.
What a guy!
Yeah, does have a piss fetish. Your mileage may vary there, but
And then fucking Hillary Clinton couldn't pour beer. That beer had so much head on it.
Sometimes I'm learning this. We're gonna take a beer tangent. I'm learning about all these different kinds of taps and brewing styles, and sometimes you do want a bunch. There are certain styles of beer, certain ways of pouring a beer, where you order it and you're expecting like 3 fingers ahead, 4 fingers ahead. There's like one Czech pour called like a Milko or something, and
You
it's
think
like
that's what Hillary Clinton was trying to do?
all I'm saying is no. She was probably trying to do an American pour where you want like a fucking like 2 millimeters at the most. So Hill Dog probably fucked it up. Good old Chillery, crooked Hillary. But yeah, just a fun fact. There are some pours out there. Sometimes that's pretty good.
That's a good one. INH podcast official stance. Sometimes that is good.
I'll stand behind that.
I think anyone could agree with that. I think anybody can agree with that.
Amen. But yeah, fucking presidents, man, so cool.
Oh yeah, I know all of them. You want a fun story? Not about presidents?
What's that?
I saw a cool, you might have sent it to me actually, I'm not sure. I saw a cool comedian bit telling a story. Did you send it to me about the BJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed the life advice from that.
You skipped to that part of it.
Yeah.
Life advice. What was it?
Because, you and me, we got our own personal life advice one time. From a crackhead. That was great. This guy, he was in the 7th grade about to get his first blowjob. So he went to his only friend he knew who was either in 7th or 8th grade that had sex. He went to the one guy he knew that had sex. And the guy said, look, if you're gonna get a blowjob, alright, you gotta remember the 3 P's. And great life advice, honestly. The 3 P's, you remember? The first one is, tell her she's pretty. Makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
She's about to do such a wonderful thing for you. Tell her she's pretty. The second thing, pineapple. Eat pineapple.
We all know why.
Yeah, we all know why. What's his name? What's the white rapper dude?
So many of them.
Jack Harlow?
Jack Harlow.
Yeah, he let us all know about that. About pineapple.
I mean, some of us Ben knew, but
Well, I was just making a joke because he literally said it in a song. It was stupid. And then the third one is pussy. Offer to go down yourself.
yeah, always got reciprocality.
The 3 P's. Great advice, honestly.
Sometimes you can get away with just offering, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes she says no, especially when you're in anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, the part of the story that was funny was that's how he found out he was allergic to pineapple.
Yeah. He bought 3 pineapples and ate them all in the car before he went to her house. It was like, should I go to the hospital or should I go get this blowjob? And the funny part is he was in there throwing up and whatever for however many hours and he still got that blowjob.
What a champ. Shouts out.
Shout out to the girl. Shout out to
Round
her.
of applause.
A lady of true responsibility and dignity.
Delightful. We'll just go full send into this one. We've talked about all the plane stuff that's been happening this year, right?
Oh, dude. We do need to talk about that. What happened in Toronto?
Yeah.
So planes have been fucking up for a while now, but it's mostly been Boeing's fault, because Boeing's a shit company.
Yeah.
They weren't always, but they became a shit company.
So, it's been concerning because we've been seeing so much of it on the news. It seems like every time something like this is happening,
It's like a door falls off or something.
yeah, every time we see it, like, we're seeing this, we don't usually see it. I'm not used to seeing it.
Yeah,
Are you?
because planes are supposedly the safest way of traveling.
Yeah, so if you check this out, I have this chart here going back to 2007, and these are aircraft accidents incidences. Just kind of doing a quick scan over it, you see that actually we're doing pretty much about the normal amount.
Honestly, we're doing better.
Yeah.
From this chart that you're showing me.
It's from the NTSB, which I don't know what it means, but it's an official.
So let me just give this sort of overview for the insertionists. In 2020, there were 89 accidents in January. In 2025, there were 62.
Yeah.
In 2020, there were 96 in February, and this year there are 26. So we're actually doing way better. But this is U.S., right?
Yeah.
The one that happened recently was in Toronto.
It was flying out of the U.S. though.
It was a Delta plane, which makes me think it was.
Yeah, it was Minneapolis to Toronto, so it would have been counted under these.
Yeah, and Delta's like an American kind of company. I mean, they go around the world, but
I mean, they're based in the U.S. It's not like Dubai Air. We know where that one is located.
oh, and then what's the other one?
There's Air
Virgin Airlines, I think, is British or something. That one Millionaire owns that. I can't remember.
But
Yeah.
There's Air Korea. I think that's running out of international airlines. I know.
Anyway,
But yeah, it turns out planes are actually fine, and they're just making sure that we see all this stuff. It's a fucking. It's some Gladio shit.
well, you think it's like a scare tactic?
Yeah, it's a psyop. The remaining elements of the deep state that are still entrenched in the mainstream media are running these plain narratives in order to sort of just keep people scared. They're using what levers of power they have left to. I think ultimately they're trying to pin it on Trump and the Trump administration.
So
Specifically,
Yeah.
in conjunction with all of the employment cuts that the federal government is currently undergoing.
right, because they said the pilot had never flown before. It was his first flight.
In which
with
one?
passengers? The Delta one.
No, well,
Well, I heard.
the story with this most recent one,
Which, by the way, I just want to say, thank goodness, no casualties, right?
which you hear a plane crash landed upside down. You're like, everybody walked away from that.
Yeah, which is insane.
Including the woman whose fault it was.
There was a woman whose fault it was. Okay, let's hear about this.
So the story there with her, obviously pilots fly in pairs. There was a more senior captain. He was handling all the other stuff. It was her turn to land. I don't know if it was her first commercial flight. I don't know about that. But she was just kind of fresh out of training. She had just recently finished logging her 1,500 training hours and was finally a pilot proper. So, to me, that doesn't necessarily sound like inexperience. I mean, what a crazy first day on the job. Oh, he's just coming home. Honey, I really screwed up at the office today.
God.
I'm gonna be on the news. Stupid.
There was a memo on my desk.
I gotta talk to HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, newer for a pilot, but certainly trained. I mean, I don't know if I feel comfortable blaming it on inexperience.
1,500 hours. Yeah,
that's a lot of time.
Yeah, so I guess you can't really say that the pilot was like inexperienced.
Yeah.
But you also could say they kind of were because they were just out of training, you know.
Yeah.
But the training kind of is the experience you're supposed to get. So
Yeah. What I'm kind of like is, even if I'm supposed to check all these other things as the senior guy, if I know this is the first couple of times, I might be like kind of half doing that, looking over my shoulder a little bit, potentially getting ahead of the situation. So, I mean, if I'm my inclination to, if I'm going to blame anybody, because sometimes accidents happen, sometimes it's nobody's fault.
yeah,
But if I'm going to blame somebody, I'm like, this happened under your watch, buddy. Are you that good of a supervisor? Can I trust you to coach up new pilots if this happens when you're watching them? I don't know.
Okay.
So
maybe it's not the lady's fault. It's the guy that trained her.
yeah. Let it not be said that I'm not a reasonable man.
Yeah, we don't blame women here. Well, interesting. You know, I don't know. I don't really know what happened. What caused that to happen?
Either the point of it all, I just want to say, planes are fine, guys. Planes are fine.
Don't be scared, unless it's a Boeing. Trust Airbus. And that's not even talking about the flight, like the company. It's talking about the plane itself.
Yeah,
That's what
like the
I'm talking
construction of the plane.
about. The actual model plane.
You can
Shoot for Airbus. Don't shoot for Boeings.
Yeah, you can check on your flight information. You can see what kind of plane they're selling you a ticket to be in. So that's a thing you can do. You can choose not to be in a Boeing flight.
Yeah.
You might have to.
But they're probably okay. And most of them are okay. But you know, that's the company we've seen the most faults with recently.
Yeah.
And even then, that wasn't like a crash. It was just like a door fell off or something. So you're still gonna get to your destination. Maybe a little winded.
Your carry-on, I don't know about that.
Your carry-on flies out.
Once that cabin depressurizes.
You're putting on the oxygen mask. Oh God!
Whoosh.
Goodbye, my next 2 days of clothing. Goodbye.
Hope you check the bag.
There's something we need to talk about that we didn't talk about last week, because you brought up the Canada-America hockey game, and you brought up the fights and shit, but you didn't actually explain why the fights happened. Did you know about this?
But Canada was incredibly disrespectful and booed our national anthem.
Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. We got him back.
I mean, we beat the shit out of them. Apparently, we had some haymakers.
Oh, and we got their national anthem back at the conclusion match, because there was a conclusion match. We win again, and we booed them this time. And you know what? We got the same consequence for it, because Canada ended up coming away the winner of it all. They beat us in that game and thereby took home the Four Nations trophy. So good job, Canada.
Well, congrats.
You know,
but come on, man.
yeah. At least we beat you guys up. There weren't any fights that second game.
I guess we were unsportsmanlike though too, right back at them. So that's not cool.
And we paid the price. We lost that match.
We shouldn't have done that.
Nice.
It's not cool to boo another nation's national anthem. Even if like in sport, like I kind of get sport teams, right? Like the fight song for the other team, if they're your rival, especially, you're booing it maybe. But like, come on, have some respect for a national anthem.
Yeah. You know.
You know.
Hey, clearly, what did we learn from this whole thing? If you boo a national anthem, you lose to that country. So
they have the indignation, the winners.
The sports gods will it. Have some fucking respect.
Yeah, everyone have some respect.
Yeah. So yeah, actually great coming back to that. I do want to do this bit of COVID news.
Okay, sure.
It's really important to me. So this is vaccine related. It goes into the mRNA treatments that were pushed out. Obviously, there was skepticism about it for a lot of people. This is a new thing, an unproven thing, honestly, that we haven't seen before. And turns out people were right to be skeptical, because we have this news coming out of the Yale University of Medicine. These mRNA treatments, specifically the ones for COVID, are causing, I want to use the language they use before I say what everyone else is calling it. Am I going to see it?
Myocarditis or some shit?
No, this is not myocarditis. This
Whatever
is
it is.
PVS. Where did they... Post-vaccination syndrome is what they're calling this.
Okay, so like its own thing.
Yeah. And what these treatments are causing is they're altering T-cell productions in a way that is causing the body to attack its own immune system. What else? What else do we call it when the body attacks its own immune system? It's an autoimmune deficiency syndrome.
You talking about AIDS?
Yes. This is vaccine AIDS. These treatments have given people VAIDS, dude. There are people now who have to live forever with fucking AIDS, not because they had ridiculous amounts of either unprotected sex or shared a bunch of needles with people who had a bunch of unprotected sex. They fucking took a jab or a booster, and now they have AIDS because of a... So that a lot of people were compelled to take. People were threatened with their jobs. Some people, these are edge cases, but some people were threatened with having their children taken away if they didn't get vaccinated and get their kids vaccinated.
Yeah, like just being welcomed back into society.
This was, for most people, this was not an optional thing. This wasn't a choice they got to make. This was something they were told they had to do. And now there are literal tens of thousands of people who have AIDS because of this vaccine, which I'm putting it in scare quotes a lot. It's not a vaccine. It will never be a vaccine. It was a gene therapy. It's a fucking therapeutic, experimental therapeutic procedure. And, yeah. So
I don't want to get into the science. I don't want to do it. Cause you're wrong and you're right, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, point being, they went ahead and did some science, some medical science.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. The flu. I don't think the flu is. I think the flu is DNA. Maybe it's RNA. HIV though is an RNA virus. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when you plug mRNA in, I don't know, man. It's not. The science makes sense. It's just that they didn't test it enough, in my opinion.
Hence calling it experimental.
Yeah, like
We were the test subjects, bro.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A vaccine has to go through 3 stages or whatever before it's cleared for actual use, like publicly, and it didn't go through. I don't think really any of it. It maybe went through maybe the first stage. I'm not sure. Obviously, we were told, and we know about this mRNA. They were sitting on that technology for a while, and they were just waiting to use it. But like, you're supposed to have clinical trials, okay? You're supposed to have like a year of clinical trials. We were the clinical trials.
Yeah.
They just shipped that shit out. They just went out.
Yeah.
And you know, man, like
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
So it just, it just is insane to me that it turns out that.
Because I heard about heart attacks. That's what I heard. I didn't hear about the AIDS stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's more related to more true stuff that's been confirmed about the. I still don't fully understand spike protein production and
Same.
how bad that can be.
Right.
But that has been confirmed to be bad.
I'll say it's the same protein that COVID makes, and then they made it so that you could get, I guess, immune to it, antibodies to it. But
The newest thing I saw with that I couldn't wrap my head, but apparently, some people are having it where they make way more of it than they needed to or whatever, and then they're shedding that for up to 700 days. So for 2 years, off of one shot, you're now have completely altered your physical system for 2 years. That just doesn't sit right with me on that surface understanding level. If you want to know more about the vaccine AIDS stuff, the paper that just got published, titled Immunological and Antigenic Signatures Associated with Chronic Illnesses After COVID-19 Vaccination. The 2 lead authors be Bornali Bachardi and Pei-Wen Liu. And again, that's coming out of Yale, the Yale University of Medicine.
yeah,
So that's not like,
this is legit.
it's not your cracked out aunt who drinks too much barefoot and posts on Facebook or something like that.
Drinks Gator wine.
Gator wine.
Do you know what Gator wine is?
Yeah, you use equal parts wine and Gatorade.
Yeah, that's barefoot. Usually use something like that. Cheap
Yeah.
wine.
Franzia, sir. Although usually you don't want to say Franzia for a goon sesh.
Slap the bag, sir.
In the goon bag.
Well, maybe you're a gooner. I'm not going to your goon cave. I'm more of an edger, so
Dude, talk about things, so calling it a goon bag, saying that you're a gooner. Australia, that's what they call bag wine.
Calling it a goon bag is
Yeah.
hilarious. When they call that in Australia?
Yeah.
Like unironically?
Yeah, like that's the main connotation of gooning in Australia
Is that you're drinking?
getting on specifically the bagged wine. Obviously, you take it out of the box. The boxes can't hold liquids. What's in the box? A bag of wine. But apparently a game they play, they play like slap the gun or whatever. But they have these like spinny circular clothes hanger thingies, and then they'll pin it to one and they'll spin it around. Whoever it lands on has to drink it and slap it back, and
It kind of sounds fun, honestly.
amazing.
Especially like with the boys.
Yeah, we gooning with the boys. Great over there, not over here.
Honestly, not bad over here.
Hey, I'll leave that to you, buddy.
What you and the boys do in a dark room is up to you.
Jesus Christ.
$20 is $20, Doug. I'm not, you know.
That's a whole different conversation than where we started. I'm kind of out of stuff, at least in terms.
That new COVID paper is neat, though. That's cool that they released a study about it, like some after effects.
I mean, for someone who's been on the leading edge of a lot of this stuff, it is nice to have a paper for once, like a nice, normal society thing to point to.
Yeah, when you have like a study instead of like companies that do their own studies just to make sure that their product, they're like, yeah, we got it. We'll investigate our own product. My boy Yale University out here questioning the government and big pharma.
So, pretty based, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy they could even get a study out at this point. It hasn't even been that long. I guess the symptoms are that bad.
Well, I mean,
They're that prevalent.
fucking yeah. I mean, that's like 2-3 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like, how long did it take for smoking to be discovered to be bad? You know?
yeah, I mean, well, again, that was mostly funded also by big pharma. Smoking is not as bad as they say it is, but that's a different episode.
Are we gonna do an episode about smoking?
Smoking is good, actually.
Do we have cigarettes in our mouths the whole time, like so we look cool?
Why don't we do that?
You're already doing enough. I'm not gonna say why.
But yeah, I think that's kind of all we have time for, honestly. If you want to part a shot,
Yeah, sure. About that time?
you question it as if I did not just say yes, it is that.
Wait, what? Sorry, huh?
Who?
That he's on first.
I only eat the vowels in my alphabet soup.
Why is that?
Sometimes.
I said, why is that? But yeah, that makes sense. Why? Sometimes. I saw that joke. Anyway, guys. Drum roll, please. Twitch.tv/others. I just started coughing. It's like so
That's
bad.
twitch.tv/Seth_Nacho411.
There you go. That's the one. Come check it out. Mondays and Tuesday evenings. I guess for my parting shot, going back to like episode 5 or something, there was an episode a long time ago on this podcast where Seth Nacho was talking about jury duty.
Brother, again?
It's about time I do my civic duty. So
Jesus Christ.
Guys.
Alex Jones, if you can hear, save us. Last time you saved us. Save us again. Alex Jones, if you can hear me.
So guys, don't forget to do your part in being part of the cog wheel of society in America.
This is what you get for voting.
You have to be a true American. You know? Yeah, it's what you get for voting. Yeah. So do your part. What the hell do you wear to jury duty? Someone tell me what kind of clothing I should wear.
Pretty business casual.
I'm kind of like, fuck it, I'm just going to go in a t-shirt.
Wear that t-shirt.
Yeah, but,
Stand up the whole time the trial's going.
see if the defendant can look away. Make direct eye contact.
Your Honor, we need an eye tracker for the prosecution.
You can see the eye tracker like on the video, like on the scribes over there just going. Prosecution is looking at the anime tits.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Artie over here, You know, it's your boy. What else is there to say? Except, I love you. Wow. As far as a parting shot is concerned, you know, think on this. We'll spin this one around the noggin a few times. An empty jar is full of potential.
I thought you were going to say full of air. Full of potential.
Yeah, just
I agree with that.
yeah, let that one percolate. Why don't you?
It's like when you get a jar in the Zelda game.
Oh man, I'm gonna put so many blue in this.
I'm gonna catch fairy bits.
Put some red in here. Ooh,
So milk.
look, look. But yeah, nothing left to be said. So just do what you got to do. Carry water, chop wood, and most importantly,
Xiao Hong Shu.